So this is the team that has been very successful in learning how to seize those exporting opportunities overseas. I'd like to get started today, if you don't mind, with letting each one of them tell you a little bit about their company, how they found their first international sale, and a little background. John, do you mind kicking us off?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. Accudyne Systems is located in Newark, Delaware. It's a collection of former DuPont engineers. Our value proposition is that we manufacture custom automation equipment that's used to make composite parts. So everybody here that has a composite fishing pole or golf club shaft or maybe hockey sticks, so you may be familiar with composite materials. These composite materials are now finding their ways into commercial aircraft. Everybody perhaps is familiar with the Boeing 787, the Airbus A350, the Osprey V-22 up the street here that's made by Boeing. And so these commercial aircraft now that will be made from composite materials will really truly change the face of flying. They're much greener machines, they're lighter, they last much longer, they're safer, and it's a true revolution in the aerospace market. So part of that revolution is the necessity to automate the manufacture of these parts. Up till now, most of these parts were all handmade. People made them, although one might think that using inexpensive labor is an effective strategy to make these parts. The truth of the matter is one sacrifices quality if one relies on inexpensive labor. So the idea of taking these parts to places that have low cost of labor is a very ineffective strategy. And many manufacturers now are looking for automation. So that's what we do. So how did this work out using the Commerce Department resources? There are several trade shows, and our customers, by the way, are all over the world. Right now, we've principally decided to market in Europe, mostly Western Europe. A lot of the technologies that we supply are ITAR restricted, and for those that aren't familiar with that term, that means that we have to go through a process to submit the technology to the U.S. government, and if they determine that it could potentially be used, or if information from the technology could be gleaned to make weapon systems, we're not going to be able to export it. So we principally work with friendly Western European governments like the UK, Italy, France, Spain. These countries we have fairly liberal, I'll say, if not more permissive situation where we can send them our technology. And so the first year that I went to start campaigning in Europe for business, I went to, it's called the JEC Trade Show in Paris. It's a large composite show. It's probably recognized as the very best composite show in the world. And I personally ended up having to make all of the arrangements with the personnel that ran the trade show. And this is ordering the carpet, ordering electricity, the furniture, the booth, all that stuff. And I speak a couple of languages, so I was able to kind of fight my way through it. But when we got to the show, much to my chagrin, I found out that our booth, because we were by ourselves, was in the back, furthest corner of the show. You almost needed a magnifying glass to find us, and it was, pretty disappointing because it was an expensive endeavor. The following year, I found out that the U.S. Commerce Department had a U.S. pavilion in that show, and I met Stephanie Pencole. I'm going to say her name. She's an absolute terrific lady, and she and I met in the Paris consulate. I went to the commercial service consulate, and we met, we talked, and I ended up, now it's our 5th year of being in the U.S. Pavilion. And so the U.S. Pavilion, with its, I'll say, I don't know if the word is cachet, but because they bring about a dozen U.S. manufacturers in the booth, they're able to leverage a much better spot rather than what I can do individually. And then they provide lots of services. I mean, I just basically make 2 credit card payments to the U.S. Commercial Service, and the booth is secured. And I'll do the same thing in the Paris Air Show in June. I'll do the same thing in the Farnborough Air Show in London next year. So, you know, these are I'll say services that without these services, we would be much less effective in having our meetings. So they provide meeting rooms when we're at the trade show. They provide internet access, you know, coffee and refreshments for our customers that are visiting. They end up having an open house where they have wine and cheese, and the customers come and hang out. And so it's very effective. It gives, you know, a company, we're about 40 individuals in the company, that's, I'll say, relatively small. We're a small to medium-sized enterprise, a much larger look and feel when our customers come, right? We have conference rooms, we have refreshments, we have internet access, and we look like, you know, a Fortune 100 company as opposed to the small company, you know, that we are. And then beyond that, of course, all of the other help that is available to us. I've made some joint sales calls and been introduced by some of the commercial service officers in Toulouse, in Milan, and some other places where I have used their services. I know I've talked too long, but I just want to say, if you're out there, if part of your value proposition in developing your message to your marketplace does not include contacting these wonderful individuals in this organization, you're not using your tax money wisely. So go use your tax money, call these folks up, talk to them, find out how they can help you, and possibly even change your value proposition as you go out and find new customers. Do not be you know, reluctant, not only not to use them, but be less reluctant to go out and see if you can sell your products or services internationally. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, John.